Hello, Star Family. So we have some massive disclosures, massive changes and truths that are coming forth, that have already come forth, and that will be showing up and evolving more, especially after summer, here after the summer of 2021. And by the way, if you hear my cat moaning or meowing in the background, sorry if it's distracting. I don't know, he's doing his thing. The moon is in Cancer. I'm feeling very at home with my moon placement being here and extra intuitive. And I think it's affecting my cat as well, because, you know, cats are sensitive to that stuff. So it's fascinating. But anyway, moving on here, my star tribe. The first oracle and tarot card that I want to look at is guidance that is showing up for all of us as a collective, as humanity as a whole, okay? And before I flip over the cards, I just want to point out too some of the other physical and spiritual signs that have been going on to reflect, you know, these massive changes and disclosures and excuse me, and human consciousness growing and raising as well. And so one of those major signs is the increase in solar activity, solar storms that we have been having. And if you haven't noticed this in the news, feel free to look it up, check it out. You know, the ancients said that when we have this extra solar activity from our sun, that this is one of those signs. And it goes to show how human consciousness is evolving and changing. And therefore, you know, I mean, with these other signs, with the astrology, you know, with Saturn being in Aquarius, of course, and all this other Aquarian energy taking place, you know, we see this, and we see this reflecting in our society in a physical way as well. You know, we have the financial system, of course, which has been big, you know, the whole Uranus in Taurus, you know, showing up. We've seen that with Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. We see it with UBI, or Universal Basic Income. So I just want to point out some of these things and some of the physical signs and manifestations of this energy for you. But let's move on. The tarot card we have for all of us showing up here is gorgeous. The Enchanter. In the traditional tarot deck, of course, this is the Magician. Major Arcana card. It is one of the first, it's technically the second Major Arcana card, but it represents number 1. Okay, so in numerology, 1 is that powerful initiative number of manifestation, of magic, the empowerment of the self, but realizing that you is in the universe. Let me say that again. Universe. See what I'm saying? See what I'm getting at? The Enchanter is speaking of individual power and awareness, but the unity and collaboration of all and with the elements. You know, the Enchanter speaks of working with all 4 elements. The Enchanter is coming through here saying, during this time of massive disclosure and massive change and evolvement, which is largely exciting, you know, it's reminding us that we have all the tools that we need, that we have the capability, okay, that we have the power, that we have the stamina, that we have the motivation, that we have all the tools, you know, all that we need during this time to make it through, to raise ourselves and our consciousness to the next level. This is really speaking of enhancing our extrasensory perception, our extrasensory abilities. Also, you could say psychic abilities, our manifestation abilities, being able to interact with and engage with and play with other dimensions. You know, quantum physics even showing up here, playing more of a role in our lives, which we are seeing even with a lot of the technological advances that are being divulged and disclosed at this time. And we will see more of it. There's also this message of the Enchanter reminding all of us that we're all in this together. We have all the components within ourselves. We are all in this together. And to realize that we're not alone in this evolvement, in this massive change. We're moving through a doorway that is leading us to a much higher state of creating, you know, a much more proficient, efficient way of creating and being and living in the world. Engaging with what, you know, engaging with our earth, with each other in a much more enlightened, intelligent, and compassionate way. Like, it's so beautiful. I love this. And we see Mercury in a lot of ways reflected with the Enchanter card, with the Magician card. And we have a couple of retrogrades happening at the end of May 2021 here. And I feel like this is also indicating that big turning point when a lot of this information and a lot of this awareness and change information comes forth, really comes to light, to manifestation, to physical being. We're wisening up. And I'm really getting that with the owl that we also see in the Magician picture here. I don't know if you can see it here. This is speaking of more systems that uplift and help humanity as a whole. This is really talking about also dropping those hierarchical systems that have been proven to be toxic and damaging. There's a lot going on with this messaging card. Okay, so the oracle here, we have grace and gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands. I love the element of air that is showing up here, with the breeze carrying the leaves from her palm and just off into the distance. You know, we're in the Aquarius age now. It's largely a lot more about airwaves, okay? Changes in the airwaves, how we use airwaves, whether that is by flight, whether that is by 5G and electromagnetic waves, you know, and energy, the progress being made there. And grace and gratitude here is reminding us to jump back into that vibration of thankfulness and of peace whenever we feel like we're being threatened, or when we feel like the old ways, the old narratives, the old structures that we've lived with for so long, you know, they're breaking down, they're breaking apart. And then we start seeing that as a threat, as a crisis and as negative. And grace and gratitude is saying, it's asking you to pull back and remember that you are taken care of and that there is grace throughout this whole process of change and of breakdown. There is still so much to be thankful for. And the things that are coming, you know, the new systems and changes that are coming for all of us. It is stuff that we can be thankful and grateful for. And you will see more of that as more information and whatnot, information and physical manifestation presents itself. You will see that. We will all understand that more so. We will see the joy, the excitement, the peace, the harmony that comes with a lot of this, that comes with this upgrade. You know, there's a joining, you know, we're joining in something that is much larger than we ever imagined it would be. And largely, it's just exciting. I see this as exciting. I can't help it. I'm going to go ahead and just get one more tarot message just to kind of verify and clarify here. And then we're going to get to individual signs, of course. Okay, I feel like it's this one. Weaver of Challenges. Beautiful. So this is, in the traditional deck, the Queen of Air, or the Queen of Swords. And I love this because, again, we have that air element. You know, she has the bird with her, taking that bird's eye view. And I'm just getting this feeling in these messages reminding us what the air element is all about. And this is about, you know, being in a very mature and graceful position, a dignified position, a much more refined position when it comes to the qualities that air represents. So, you know, again, going back to like airwave type technology, you know, communication, knowledge, raising our knowledge and our knowing. Again, going back to conscious awareness. Now, the thing, of course, with the Weaver of Challenges is she isn't always soft and easy with the changes or with the information that she gives. Okay, so this can come across as shocking or harsh to many. This is speaking of radical evolvement and information that might seem so far-fetched or so radical or so futuristic that it's hard to wrap your mind around. A lot of people are going to have difficulty with wrapping their heads around some of the information and knowledge and new interactions that we have coming forth. But largely, we are ready. And for those people who are struggling to accept or wrap their heads around a lot of this, that's where those of us who are a little more accepting or a little more knowledgeable, a little bit more consciously aware can help those other people out. You know, through grace. So beautiful. All right. let's move on to individual signs here now. All right, so Aries. Let's actually start with your oracle card, Aries. So we have distant thunder, clear the air. Okay. First message I'm getting with this, how you, Aries, can really more personally deal with these massive disclosures and changes is allowing old routines, old narratives, old beliefs, letting them clear, letting them die out, letting them end. Even if that unfamiliar space or that blank space may seem, intimidating or scary, it will get better, and it is for your benefit to let go of some of those older or outdated narratives and beliefs. And also, I am getting a course with this as well, Aries. This is talking about potentially clearing the air, making things clear, whether it's clearly stating boundaries or clearly expressing yourself with other people in relationships. That can also help with this energy. All right, so your tarot card, Keeper of Challenges. So Aries. Keeper of Challenges is the King of Swords in the traditional deck. Take a rational approach to things now. Try to keep a very mature, neutral perspective. Try to maintain a neutral attitude and a rational attitude. And look at things without reacting so much and without getting overly emotional. That's really what the Keeper of Challenges is saying here. And definitely, since we're dealing with the element of air here, clearing things up, clear the air element. So Aries, this can really benefit you working with the element of air and what it stands for. Expressing yourself, communicating a little bit better, a little bit clearer, of course, for lack of better words. And, definitely there's this message coming back up of stating boundaries with others and yourself. And just I'm getting this message of hearing the situation or other people out, especially before, jumping to conclusions. Yeah. The other side to this, before I leave you here, Aries, is there could be an older male figure, especially, who could prove to be very enlightening to you, who might provide you with some liberating information or may help you see things slightly differently, and it helps you embrace and accept things without so much turmoil, or resistance or any kind of upset. So definitely pay attention to anyone who might come across, fitting that description. There you have it, Aries. Hey, Leo. Always exciting to see what comes through with my fellow Leos. let's start with your oracle message. So, choosing your path. All is possible. So Leo, this is just another indicator and sign of how you can personally deal with these massive disclosures and changes that have come up and that are coming. So this really is also indicating and saying, Leo, that you can really create your own reality right now with this. There are so many possibilities with what is going on in the world and how it's affecting you. And you really have the power to choose your mood, you know, how your attitude is going to be with all this. And then how that will affect the rest of your path in life moving forward. So just know the power of choice is really within your grasp. And there's no boundaries. I'm getting, you know, with this card, Leo, that, you know, where some other signs may have more boundaries to kind of put up or worry about, you don't really have a whole lot of boundaries per se right now. You're more of like the explorer who is moving through boundaries, or who is perhaps breaking some boundaries down in some ways. You know, that's not to say that you shouldn't maintain some healthy boundaries, but your path is open, Leo. And remembering that and actively keeping yourself in that sort of mindset will really help you through this time and coping through this time. Beautiful. Let's see what your tarot message is. Ooh, I love this. Yes, Leo. 10 of Boons. In the traditional deck, this is the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, so the other side to this, and what would really help you during this time, is really, I know a lot of you Leos maybe have gotten used to being by yourself or doing things on your own, but you're really being encouraged, especially with you rising Leos out there, you know, you're really being encouraged to engage with a community again, engage and collaborate with a partner again, with other people. You know, simply just allowing yourself to be a little bit more social and engaged. And that's really going to help you and guide you on your personal path during this time. And of course, I definitely see this message indicating that this can be an excellent time for you, even though there's so much transition going on and it may feel chaotic and uncomfortable, that there is some massive positive leaps that you can make, especially with your career and with your finances. You know, there is a lot of potential here, Leo, for you to make some, you know, prosperous moves and to receive some prosperous gains. So money really looks good. There's definitely opportunity for you when it comes to your wealth and well-being. And the last message here, Leo, coming through for you is exploring new structures, and especially when it comes to a home environment, you know, a tight-knit community. If you're looking for like a new community, a new place of living, a new home. Being open to exploring and trusting that you will come across your tribe and that you and your tribe will find each other if you haven't already. And then there's just so much that can blossom and grow and support you from there. Beautiful. There you have it, Leo. Hello, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, my lovely fellow fire sign. Let's start with your oracle card and see how you can really cope with and embrace these massive changes and disclosure. Discovering truth. You stand in the light of truth. Okay, so Sagittarius, I'm getting, especially with your planet Jupiter shifting signs in May 2021, and then it'll shift in a couple of months after that again. But you're going to be more of this direct recipient of truths. And that can mean spiritual truths, but also just news and awareness of what's going on, you know, in society, in your family or community. Those truths kind of hitting you first or just more directly in some way. And, you know, there's just this encouragement for you, Sagittarius, saying that the truths and disclosures coming out is really for raising our awareness, our knowledge, our understanding. And it will make you feel a lot more light, you know, lighthearted and free. So it's important to remember that as we're going through these massive turning points. Let's see what your tarot message is. Two of Challenges. Okay, so in the traditional deck, this is the Two of Swords. So definitely it speaks of being at a crossroads, especially with the information or truths that you receive. Notice how both people in these images are backpacking. There's something there for you to pay attention to. But they're both kind of turning their back on what has been. Maybe some old or outdated ways of doing or routines, beliefs. And then whilst breaking away from that, Sagittarius, a lot of you are coming at, you know, this crossroads or this point where you reach a new path, you know, with that new information and truth that you get. And it puts you on a whole new level. And it can really shift your path. It can shift the direction that you have been going. It's just a big sort of directional shift. And this awareness of this other reality, you know, whether you have that awareness already or not, it's becoming more aware or more engaged with this other reality. And I'm really getting that with the mirror being here. Mirrors often represent kind of portals to other dimensions or realities. So embracing the crossroads will be of use to you right now. And stepping on that new path will be helpful for you during this time. And definitely backpacking or breaking away from old ways of being or doing, whether that means a job or a religious belief system, but breaking away from that. And it ultimately is freeing and lightens your load, lightens your soul. And the last message here for you, Sagittarius, and how to really embrace and accept all this that's going on is simply engaging with duality or accepting the dual nature of things and listening, observing the dual nature of a situation, of a person. Much can be learned there. Beautiful. So there you have it, Sagittarius. Hey, Libra. So, my lovely air sign, let's see what the oracle message is for you and helping guide you and affirm you during this massive time of transformation. Transformation. Fresh new way of living emerges. Yeah, what have we been talking about with this massive disclosure that is coming up and all these changes? Yes. So, Libra. I love seeing this for you, the phoenix bird. Let me just breathe into this for a second. I feel like a lot of you Libras are gonna feel more excited and free and happy with these changes that are taking place in society, that are the changes that are taking place within your personal life. A lot of you, I feel like, have been wanting or need this fresh new way of being, this fresh new way of living. So I feel like a lot of you are going to embrace it pretty well because it's something that that you've been needing, that your soul perhaps has been craving for a while. So, really embracing all these massive changes and disclosures is simply surrendering to the transformation process and allowing yourself to try new things, or perhaps a new belief system, trying, making new friends, just whatever is new and different for you can be of use to you and very helpful. And Libra, your tarot message is Ace of Visions. Beautiful. And it's funny because the swan often represents transformation as well. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the fairy tale, The Swan Princess. Even in this photo, the swan is looking at its reflection and it has a crown on in the reflection, a jeweled necklace, different sort of perception. And I feel like the Ace of Visions course, aces are all about fresh, new, you know, their starting points. The big, definitely a big emphasis for you, Libra, on starting points or making a new starting point for yourself. This is about really getting in touch with, too, allowing yourself to be a little bit more dreamy, you know, getting in touch with your imaginative ability, Libra, what you can imagine for yourself, what you really want to see yourself as, who you really want to see yourself as, how you want to grow, how you want to, you know, what foundations, what, you know, long-lasting foundations or structures do you want for yourself now? Really getting in touch with those visions. There's definitely this feeling of a downpour of downloads, you know, just I can sense like these massive downloads of information and even offers that are being extended to you. You know, so pay attention for those, pay attention to those signs and the information that comes through around this time. And I am getting this message too that it could be really helpful for some of you Libras to even simply change your appearance. You know, something about changing your appearance can sometimes really help with the changes that are going on around you or the changes that are happening within you. So something about changing physical environment or your physical appearance can really help initiate or catapult you and ground you into this energy. Beautiful. Yeah, that's all that's coming through for you at the moment. There you have it, Libra. Hey, my Aquarius friends. Aquarius, let's begin with your oracle message. Navigating by the stars. Yes. Follow your bliss. So, how you can really accept or cope with all the massive disclosures and changes happening during this time. Well, Aquarius, I love this coming through for you guys because in the tarot, y'all represent the star card. And you represent the system of astrology in a lot of ways, you and Leo. And so, Aquarius, leaning on that sort of system and information can be very useful and can help enlighten you and comfort you during this time. You know, looking to astronomy or astrology readers, of course, finding some useful information there. Looking to the heavens, truly. And, you know, that could be branching out, you know, using other means, you know, other systems or other tools that have to do with airwaves or the stars, you know, the heavens. But there's definitely a strong message there for you that that's something that can be of use to you and of comfort to you now. And, you know, whichever thing brings you the most bliss and joy, you know, that is always a telling sign. All right, let's go ahead and flip over your tarot. Okay, so 9 of Visions. This is 9 of Cups in the traditional deck. I love like all the stars around this coin, which is falling into a wishing well. Of course, Aquarius, you rule the house that has to do with hopes and wishes. The 11th house in astrology. This is actually a time, Aquarius, where you can really make hopes and wishes. I mean, your hopes and wishes happen. You can see the fulfillment of some wish that you have, that you've had, which is quite beautiful. And I'm getting this message of simply allowing yourself to hone in and find the pleasure and joy in the small things. You know, even just a good meal or a game night with friends. Or, you know, taking comfort with a good book. Especially things that are somehow knowledge-based or information-based looks good for you. Something that really feeds your vision. There's a culmination point. I feel like a lot of you Aquariuses are reaching during this massive turning point as well. And it may seem scary because of the chaos and changes that are going on, but I feel like Aquarius, many of you can trust it. Let me just kind of breathe into this a little bit more because I feel like there's a little something left here for you. Look for the signs that represent evolution and spirals, Aquarius, because I feel like it's going to be very useful to you. I feel like the 3 fish on this coin are representing that. You can see it at least close up here. And then you have like this spiral on the shepherd stargazer's staff here. Okay, that might be something for you to further look into or simply watch out for, because it can be an indicator to pay attention to the person that's around you or your environment that you're in at the time. And it overall feels very positive for you. Yeah. So there you have it, Aquarius. Hey, Gemini. All right, so let's go ahead and start, Gemini, with your oracle message. Grace and gratitude. Okay, so this came up for all of us in the collective portion of this reading, I believe. Yeah. Through gratitude, joy expands. So Gemini, take this as some guidance for you in how to cope with and accept the times that we're in of massive disclosure and change. Actually, before I flip this over, let me just feel into this a little bit more here. There's this message of allowing information to pass through. Okay, just allowing information to pass through, in and out. I'm just kind of getting this like in and out passing of information and knowledge. Not to hold on too tightly to one narrative, one story, one viewpoint. Allowing yourself to tap into your mutable energy, Gemini, of letting it kind of weave in and out, flow in and out. Because information and knowledge is definitely changing and constantly evolving right now. And that'll lighten things up for you. And definitely practicing gratitude. Simply practicing what you are grateful for right now. What you have, right now. All right, so let's go ahead and see. We have the Ten of Visions. In the traditional deck, this is the Ten of Cups. I love it. We have like the unicorns here. And a beautiful meadow with a stream in the background. Stars or lightning bugs surrounding them. This is beautiful. So Gemini, this is also saying that you can really ground yourself and feel a lot more uplifted and comforted by surrounding yourself with family, close friends, and opening up more space to connect with other relationships or other family members. Definitely connection being key there. There's a full manifestation, like some relationship or connection coming to a fulfillment of some sort, I'm getting. With this practice of gratitude and that mutable, flexible mind frame, you can see more of those visions and desires for yourself come to fruition, come to full manifestation. It doesn't really matter if times are crazy and chaotic. And this is a time I'm just getting this message of a coming together. There's something, especially relationship-wise, I feel for a lot of you Geminis, it's just a coming together. More of a unification of ideas and a unification of relationships, this finding middle ground and finding, it's almost like I'm almost envisioning this peace treaty. Establishing your likenesses, really seeing and recognizing more likenesses. That serves you very well during this time, Gemini. Beautiful. There you have it. Hey, Cancer, you lovely moon child, you. So let's look at what your oracle message is first here for how to really embrace and cope with these massive disclosures and changes. Stepping into power. You are strong beyond measure, Cancer. So I feel like this is definitely more affirmation than anything. And there's also, there's this message here, Cancer, of embracing your own small light illumination in the darkness. You see this man traversing through the night, through darkness, with his own light. And he's facing whatever threat, he may perceive, or whatever he is on the hunt for or journeying to. You know, he's moving through the darkness to get there, and he's facing it. So there's, you know, it's just a little bit of poetry and metaphor sort of messages here for you. But be confident, you know, let me just say, Cancer, be confident and trust your own ability and inner intelligence to move through these massive disclosure times and times that feel unshaky, or that feel shaky and chaotic. You are strong enough to move through this, to get through this, and to shift your own frequency. Something about measuring up and shifting and raising your frequency here. Yeah, so let's see what your tarot message is. The Lovers, aha. Giving yourself, the first message I'm actually getting with the Lovers here for Cancer that can also really help guide you and help you during this time is giving yourself enough self-care, enough care time, enough pampering time. You know, allow yourself to rest more, allow yourself to treat yourself, whether that's with a good meal, you know, a face mask, a bath, staying in and allowing yourself to do something that is fun and rejuvenating to you, that brings you peace and restoration. Okay, that's really the first major message coming through with this. So, you know, just give yourself that. I'm getting, this is speaking more of the privacy and the intimate time. Now, of course, Cancer, it can be useful to some of you to share some of that space and intimate time with someone else. You know, but definitely keeping things intimate and more focused right now, and focused on love and connection. That will help you through these massive disclosure moments here. It'll help keep you grounded. Doing things in pairs as well. That's definitely a message coming through here. You know, doing projects or finishing things up, or, you know, simply with whatever it is that you're doing or trying to change or cope with, doing it in pairs. Very useful for you during this time. Think balance, Cancer. What brings you, what gives you balance and makes you feel balanced? And rest assured, know that this whole process is happening, you know, this conscious leap and evolvement that is happening is ultimately giving you more light, love, and balance. Even if it's uncomfortable, you know, moving through the darkness, even though you are a moon child, can still be uncomfortable. But especially with support and giving yourself that support in an active way can definitely make a big difference and can lighten things during this time. Beautiful. So there you have it, Cancer. Hey, Scorpio. I always love seeing what comes through for you guys. So Scorpio, my friend, let's get started with your oracle message. Fellow travelers, support is all around you. So remember this. Try to consciously stay aware of this, Scorpio, as we move through these massive times of transition and disclosure. Just recognize the support that you do have, like financial support, but also, relationship support, the support from your environment as well. I am getting specifically here for you, Scorpio, that it could be extra comforting and helpful for you during this time to really engage with pet therapy, So whether you have a peacock or, a cat or a dog or whatever, that can be more directly helpful therapeutic for you. And there's this definite message here, Scorpio, of paying attention to the skies. There's something about the rainbow coming through here that is standing out for you. You're paying attention to the skies, even color therapy, which is definitely an interesting and specific thing that hasn't come through for anyone else. So even color therapy, that's interesting. Your tarot message is the 9 of Spells. Beautiful. So in the traditional tarot deck, Scorpio, this is 9 of Fire or 9 of Wands. So there's definitely this message here. What would really help you and maybe comfort you during this time that we're in is to draw boundaries, definitely of drawing boundaries and keeping or upholding boundaries. And it's this fine balance, not completely cutting yourself off from receiving like new information, which could be enlightening. And, that's part of the massive disclosure that is happening or will be happening here. But balancing it out and tempering yourself out with, establishing boundaries so that you're not completely overwhelmed, or that your family or close relations aren't completely, overwhelmed. Because it is a lot to take in. Of course, this can be speaking of doing ritual work or spell work, specifically working with the element of fire. But, this could mean working with other elements as well. But definitely that sense of ritualistic energy work could definitely prove to be beneficial. But there's definitely this other message too, I just want to bring up real quick, of prying eyes. It may be hard for you to see on camera, like at this distance, but there's like these glowing eyes in the forest, surrounding her. And so there might be some prying eyes with some of you or your situation. And that's one reason why drawing boundaries at this time could be good for you. I feel like there's just one other message here for you, Scorpio, so I'm just breathing into this. A more focused effort could bring you in more enlightenment, could bring you in more conscious enlightenment and knowledge, downloads, which prove to be positive, of course, and helpful. But yeah, there you have it. Hey Pisces, hope I find you well. Let's start with your oracle message. Valiant courage. Take action with passion. So Pisces, this is just one message here of how you can further embrace and cope with these massive changes and disclosures happening. Exercise more courage. Actively face your fears. And you can start small, Pisces. You know, if you have a fear of heights, try going somewhere, that takes you up high. If you have a fear of a certain bug, I don't know, face the bug. If you have a fear of interacting with people or being the first to initiate conversation, challenge yourself, make yourself do it, make yourself go up to that person and say hello, ask how they're doing. You get the picture. It's taking steps to practice your courage. Okay, because you do have it, Pisces. Taking action, take the steps. And fueling that action, those steps, with passion. Backing that with passion, enthusiasm will help you. It'll make you feel better, and it'll make others respond to you better with more eagerness or welcome, a more welcome demeanor. I am getting to this little message with this card too of something about, a little trip or a little bit of travel, even if it's just short term or short distance travel could prove to be beneficial for you specifically during this time and with everything that's going on. Let's look at your tarot message. Ooh, okay, the Enchanter's Wheel. In the traditional tarot, Pisces, this is the Wheel of Fortune. We have the number 10 with this, which of course really boils down to 1, which came up in the general reading for all of us, for humanity as a whole at the beginning with the Magician cards. So the Enchanter's Wheel, there's a culmination point, a fulfillment point with all this energy that is coming up for you. It's the first feeling and message I'm getting for you. But I'm getting this interesting message with the Enchanter's Wheel, Pisces, asking many of you to, I'm seeing this as like a staircase, like a spiral staircase, and you're being asked to go down it or go up it and allow yourself to be led in a lot of ways. Okay, have the courage to follow whatever sign or person or opportunity that is leading you through this, path down or up this spiral staircase to whatever center point, to whatever central point. So trust. It's just kind of this message of trust that. intuition and nudge. And trust the karmic phase. Know that everything is a phase in life. You know, there's nothing that necessarily lasts forever. At least when it comes to phases. They are temporary. And let me just point blank point out here to Pisces. You're taken care of, is this card is saying too. There's a positive affirmation and energy with this, okay? There is a fortunate progression here for you, a fortunate point of reaching. Let me see here. I feel like there might just be one more message. If there's like this doorway or portal-like energy that I'm feeling with this as well, that's trying to come across for you, Pisces. And, you know, maybe just this simple message or imagery will make sense to some of you and will resonate. But there's definitely, you know, something about embracing or stepping through that doorway and portal-like energy. And simply having the confidence to transition or be transitioned and to accept a breakthrough. Because you'll want to accept it because it looks and feels positive. Fascinating times we're in, isn't it? There you have it, Pisces. All right, Capricorn, hello. So, how you can personally cope with, embrace the massive disclosures and changes happening. Let's start with your oracle message. Miracles. Expect the wondrous to emerge. I love this. I love the image of the Magi with the lamp. We have the star and moons represented. I just love how exotic it is. Anyways, Capricorn. This is really inviting you during this huge turning point and during these disclosures to accept, trust miracles more so, to believe in the miracles of life, of your life again. You know, to really even, like it says here, expect, Capricorn, expect the wondrous miracles to emerge. Don't just hope, don't just wish, but expect it. As if it is a done deal. And I know this is really specific, but I'm getting it with the lamp and the smoke rising from the lamp, really, that it could be specifically helpful for you, Capricorn, to work with incense or work with essential oils, okay, or burning sage, you know, burning herbs. That could be extra relaxing and grounding for you and can help you more so during this time. And something about carrying messages that way, like in a very ritualistic kind of way. Sending off messages through smoke. Very interesting. All right, let's look at your tarot message. 9 of Spells. Okay, Capricorn, I do believe Scorpio got this. So you might want to check out their reading. And some of you might be dealing with a Scorpio or coming into contact with a Scorpio, which could be helpful and supporting during this time of massive disclosure and change. But also, I feel like 9 of Spells is speaking of you, a lot of you Capricorns, learning to build structures. It's not talking about new ones, really. This is about building on to what you have already established, what you've already built even, but to energize or to energetically sort of cloak or protect that which you have built, those boundaries or foundations that you have already established. It's just kind of putting up an energy field or building upon that. And I'm just getting this simple message to Capricorn of it can help to simply observe. Observe what or who is observing you, but doing so from a distance for the sake of peace and for the sake of respect between you, between them, and your boundaries, just mostly energetically speaking, but physical boundaries as well. Yeah. Essentially, that's all that wants to come through for you. There you have it, Capricorn. Hello, Taurus. So, how can you personally cope with, accept more of these, massive disclosures and changes? Well, your oracle guidance is grounding. Go figure. Go deep, explore your roots. I do love this card. So Taurus, of course, you being powerful earth energy, this is going to feel very good and very natural to you. So it's pretty simple, working within your own element, keeping to your own element of earth. Grounding and making sure that you're staying stabilized during this time of massive disclosure and change. But allow yourself in the process to go deep and maybe explore those parts of yourself, your lineage even, that you haven't explored yet, that you haven't touched on. I'm definitely working with tree energy or being close to trees, specifically Taurus, I know, but it feels and looks very helpful in healing. And can give you some information. Trees, it's scientifically proven that trees, of course, have their own intelligence system and ways of communicating. So some of you may find yourself in a very, psychic or extrasensory sort of way, connecting with that source of communication. Okay, yeah, let's look at your tarot message. All right, so we have the 5 of Boons, which is the 5 of Earth. So Taurus, your Earth energy, very solidified, very strong here. However, Five of Boons, you know, there is a little bit of like the fear and the fear of lack, the fear of losing, especially material resources, or losing a certain set of beliefs, or losing a system that we have relied on, that we thought we could trust, that we thought was structured and strong. There's that sense with this card. And there's this message, Taurus, if that comes through for you with all this that is going on, that is evolving, to know, first of all, that you're not alone, that you're not the only one who is wrapping their head around this, who's dealing with a lot of these changes, and that there is a light at the end of what seems like a dark tunnel. But understand that this could very well be largely a matter of perception, although some of it can, manifest in a very real physical way. There's this guidance here with the Five of Boons of surrendering to what is and being practical, and knowing that there are some things that you cannot change, and it's okay to not change them. Or it's okay to embrace some of the change that is affecting you. And this message here, Taurus, for you too, of like being meager, or accepting and being happy with the small things, the little things, the tiny gestures I'm getting, the small, tiny gestures. Look to those and the value of those during this time. And you will see, I feel like from that, you will see value expand and resources expand. But it's a breaking point to get to break through. There is that energy. And definitely that earthy tree energy that I brought up. Ooh! Powerful and useful, I feel like, here. But it's also exciting. There's also this feeling of breaking away from some beliefs or systems, doctrines even, all that has actually maybe kept you captive. And the breaking away from that is going to be powerful and liberating. Beautiful. Well, there you have it, Taurus. Hey, Virgo. So Virgo, let's start with your oracle message here, how you can best work with, embrace the massive disclosures and changes coming. Surrender. Yeah, surrendering to the journey. Release control. So Virgo, tap into that mutable earth energy that is a strong part of you, and allow that free flow, allow that flexibility. Think of mud. Think of mud. It's earth, but it's flexible, okay? It moves a little bit more easy. Allow there to be some easy movement, you know, some room to move easy. And, you know, this card is speaking of trust as well. Surrendering to what is. And that's a very difficult lesson to learn for a lot of people. But it is definitely fantastic when you are there and when you have learned that and being in that state, you know, recognizing when you should stop, you know, and when you should simply accept. Because there's more going on. There are higher powers at work. And it's important to trust those powers. And then there's just this affirmation I feel like that wants to come through with this too for you, Virgo, saying that you are being carried safely across the waters. You know, even if the boat feels a little rocky, you know, feels a little turbulent, you are being carried safely. Your tarot message is 8 of Visions. All right, Virgo. In the normal tarot deck, this is the 8 of Cups. So Virgo, some of you may be feeling definitely a little lost. There's a lot of us, a lot of people who are going to be feeling this, you know, sense of just being lost and confused, not having any sure answer or sure sense of direction. And just know that during this time, and especially moving through these transitions and changes and the new information coming through, it's okay. It's okay to just be in that place of uncertainty. You don't have to have it all established. You don't have to have a sure direction all the time. Because being in this state of uncertainty and with all kinds of information coming to you, Virgo, there's a lot of directions to look, you know, a lot of areas where your focus may be pulled, Virgo, and it's a part of your process right now. And it's a part of learning and accepting what is and what is to further come. And it might feel, you know, a little airy. You might feel less grounded. You know, you might feel just a little bit too much in your head. But once again, you know, it's just a phase and a process, and it is going to benefit you and be of use. So just be affirmed with that, Virgo. Sorry, that's my cat in the background again. So basically, overall, what I'm getting with this energy for you, Virgo, is to wander. To be okay with simply wandering. There's a lot of visions and downloads to digest. And so the other component to this is giving yourself the space, maybe some alone time, you know, maybe a little bit more alone time could be beneficial for you during some of this. And letting maybe simply nature just kind of support you during this time. And something about movement, and I feel like that came through for you, Virgos, maybe in the last reading that I did for you. But something about movement, the act of simply moving your body and whatnot can be, stress relieving or helpful to you during this time. So there you have it, Virgo. So in closing here, my lovely star tribe, this is applicable, this dragon oracle message here for all of us, all 12 signs. I just want to close with this. And the dragon message is dragon healing. We dragons offer you healing to shift physical burdens. These are no longer present in your sacred life. Your body, your cells, your energy now shifts and aligns with a form manifesting only well-being. That is beautiful and powerful and resonant, I feel like, with everything that's going on, with everything that we've talked about collectively for all of us, but also individually for the signs. Yeah. Part of my predictions are we're seeing more technology, and specifically space technology and technology that has to do with flight and AI, artificial intelligence. That is coming forward. Financial systems, we have cryptocurrency, but also UBI, Universal Basic Income. That's part of the financial revolution with the Aquarius age here. I feel like that's another, real physical, practical way we're seeing the energy manifest here. And guys, the solar energy, like I talked about at the beginning, this is all powerful. Our consciousness is raising. We're being handed more knowledge, technology, and we might even see some interaction with our star family, with our alien or extraterrestrial family actually coming through as well. Powerful, exciting things on the horizon for us. If you want to do a personal tarot psychic reading with me, information is below in the descriptions box, as well as my website where you can read more blogs and information that relates to everything astrology, mysticism, natural healing, spirituality. Check it out, all below in the descriptions box. Ta-ta for now.